Hello and welcome to another QuizCon form video. In this video, we are going to be looking at form layout settings. Let's begin. Currently, my new form is using the out-of-the-box SharePoint layout. With QuizCon Forms apps, you can change this and adapt your form's layout to suit your own style and needs. With the form layout feature, you can customize the SharePoint list forms layout to create fully responsive multi-column and multi-tab forms. In the Lists QuizComs app setting page, click the Form Layout gear icon. This will open up the Form Layout Settings page. This settings page allows you to customize the form's layout and divide your form into groups. Each group includes columns, and these can be configured to be displayed as tabs or collapsible groups. If all columns in a group, tab or collapsible group are hidden due to the column permission rules, then the entire group becomes hidden. As with columns, you can also dynamically show hide groups according to dynamic conditions, as we will see in a future video. To add your own tab, select Tabs in the Display Groups As drop-down. Create a new tab by clicking the Add New Tab button. This will create a new empty tab. In the Group Name field, type your tab name. I have named this group name Contact Details. Under Group Layout, you have an empty grid. This is where you add rows and then select the columns you want to be displayed in the tab. To add a row, select Add Row. In this row, I have added the email field from my form. If I go back to a new form, you can see that the form layout has changed. It now has a Contact Details tab. I can add additional fields to a row by clicking on the icon to the right of the drop-down menus. In this example, I'm going to now add the owner field. When I now look at a new form, you can see that the layout has changed so that the fields appear in multiple columns. Click Add Row to add a new row to your form. This will create a new empty row with one empty field. The drop-down menus allow you to select a column to be displayed. However, you can also select HTML elements such as a text cell to display custom HTML contents that can include formatted text and images. For this example, I have added a line to break up the form's layout and then added the phone number field underneath it. Going back to a new form, you can see the line I have added underneath the first row of fields. As well as adding additional columns in a row, you can resize a column without altering the pixels. Click on the arrows underneath the field you wish to change. These arrows can make the field bigger or smaller. Now when I look at the form, you can see that the columns have been resized. As you may have noticed, there's no need to decide in advance on the number of columns in your grid. This is because this is a Fluent UI. All forms will adjust to the user's device, whether that be a desktop or mobile device. This means you can have a different number of fields in each row. There is no need to have a strict table layout. You can add more than one tab to your form by selecting Add New Tab. I have created a new tab called Action, which will contain fields relevant to this tab. You can see when I switch back to a new form, there are now two tabs, and I can switch between them by just selecting each tab. You can add an All Columns tab by checking the Add All Columns tab box. This can also be renamed. I have called mine All Columns tab. When I return to a new form, the new All Columns tab that I added lets me view all available fields in the form. I can also choose to display groups as collapsible groups. Select the drop-down menu under Display Groups As and choose the collapsible groups. You can select whether you would like the group to appear collapsed in a new form by default by checking the Collapse by Default box. Now when I go to a new form, the groups appear collapsed by default and can be viewed by selecting the drop-down arrow. Thank you for watching another KWIZ Forms video. We hope to see you again soon.